So welcome back to the Stumble Across podcast. We are now in series 2, and my first guest, as you can see on the screen, is with me now. So as always with these episodes, I go into them knowing very little about you in this episode. So if you could just say your name for everyone who's listening and watching, and give me a little bit about yourself.
Hello, so I am Ellie. I'm from Leeds, and I was going to say I was 24, but I'm actually 25 now. Um, I work a normal 9 to 5, and then I work in the travel industry as well. So yeah, bits and bobs.
Now, the 3 things that I do know about you, so from your TikTok profile, okay? So the 3 things I know is ADHD, travel, and life.
Yep, that's it.
Does that sum it up?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so I want to get into the travel thing in just a moment, but I would love to start talking about ADHD.
Let's go straight in.
The reason why I'm saying this is because only last week I have started that diagnosis.
Okay, yeah.
So I have started by the tick boxing, and how is this scenario to you, and then you tick good, very good, wherever it is. So that's my extent of the knowledge. That's all I know is that initial checklist. Okay. How would you describe ADHD to the person out there who has no idea what it is?
I would just say that I am a clever little ball of chaos. Like, I come across as like bubbly, but with ADHD, there's a lot more going on inside. Like, your brain is very loud. You've got 10 songs in your head. You've got a million to-do lists, and you start one project, then you start another, and you never finish any of them. It's just chaos.
Yep. Now, how did you figure out that or thought that you knew that you had it? Like, was this as a child or lately?
So I went to uni in 2020, and some of my lecturers were like, Ellie, you're the only person that speaks. Like, do you have ADHD by any chance? And I was like, I've never really thought about it, because I thought it was like naughty kids at school that had ADHD, and usually boys. So I was a bit offended. I was like, what do you mean? And then when she told me about it, I thought, you know what, that is actually me. Because she's like, you just distract everybody around you. You're always chit-chatting. And I thought, is that what ADHD is? So then when I looked more and more into it, and obviously this is when TikTok was becoming big, everyone was like, oh, 5 signs you might have ADHD. I'm like, oh my God, that's me. I tick every single box.
What box is the main thing? Is it your mind just going 24/7?
Yeah, I would describe my brain as going 1,000 miles an hour, a bit disruptive, and the lack of concentration for me. So I can focus on certain things, but normal day-to-day tasks I find really difficult.
For me, it was well, 2 things. I can get really into something that I enjoy, but as you say, like everyday things, I've struggled. I really struggled to kind of sit down and think about
It's
it.
boring. The mundane tasks
Yeah.
are the worst. Like, even the one I've noticed recently is getting home from work, putting a wash on, or even just getting in the shower. Like, I shower every day, but it's the transition from going from dry to wet, and then wet to dry, and then I have to do my hair, and I'm like, I'd rather just sit there and wait for some energy.
That was exactly what I was going to say. Just sit on the bed and waiting for something to
Oh
happen.
yeah, and then after I've been in the shower, I'll
Yeah.
sit in a wet towel on my bed, just waiting for something to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. But whereas if it's something that you're very interested in, so I mean, we'll get to travel in just a minute. Do you feel that is no task whatsoever? You could just do that all day.
Yeah, this is a controversial one for people with ADHD, but I like reading. So even though I might lack concentration, if I read a book that grips me, I'll finish it start to finish in like a few hours.
It's ticking all the boxes that I initially thought. So then, and I thought, because I'm 30, almost 31 now, and I thought, like, at this stage of life, is there much point in me even knowing, like why, what would it change, in that way?
Yeah, I thought that, but since having my diagnosis, I learn certain behaviours aren't normal, and I learn how to go about that. So with my boyfriend, he now knows if I act a certain way, it's not personal to him. It's just that my brain is just having a bad, loud day.
Because that's another thing I was going to say with like with relationships, and certainly my partner would say the same thing. Like you do, I think you exaggerate everything, but also in the opposite way as well. You can not not let on
It's like
what's
I'm
in your
there, but
head.
I'm not there. Like I'm in the
Yeah.
room, but because my brain's a million miles away, I probably come across as really distant. And
Hmm.
I just
Hmm.
struggle. And I know my boyfriend's there and I want to give him attention, but I just can't.
And another thing just on ADSD, mine was kind of going into shopping centres, and I kind of had this anxiety, but I didn't know where it was coming from.
Yes,
And I don't, obviously I don't know, but I'm almost relating that in the same way to ADHD because just the overwhelming factor.
it is. And sometimes the lights are too bright.
I'm staring at a ring light right now, and it's too bright
Me too.
already in my face.
I know. I'm like, where do I
Okay.
look? But yeah. As a kid, though, sorry to divert. This is what I do. Um, I was a dancer, and the dance teachers kind of wiped their hands with me when I was really little because they used to say, "Oh, she's away with the fairies. Just put her at the back." It's not very fair, is it?
I don't want to say back in the day because it's not that long ago, but people are more aware of it now, and especially
And I
education.
think they'd have picked up on it then, like if it was
Yeah.
now.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
whereas then it was just, oh, she's away with the fairies. She don't concentrate. She's in Ellie land, you know.
I kind of feel for the people who are a lot older, like maybe 20 years older than me, who have went through their whole life and it's kind of affected them, but they haven't been able to do anything about it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a lot of people who have ADHD. It can cross over with autism sometimes, and the symptoms that cross over. Like for me, I do struggle with sensory overload, and I feel like years ago they'd just be like, "Oh, you're just being dramatic. It's pathetic.
Hmm.
Like suck it up," sort of
Yep.
thing. Whereas now, you'd realise that not everybody struggles with too bright lights. You know?
Have you kind of worked that in a positive way then? So, I mean, let's go on to talk about your travel and so on. Because of that, maybe 9 to 5, that certainly I think I would struggle with because I've kind of been self employed all my life.
Hmm.
Because of those reasons, is that why you've went down the route that you have?
Yes, because I spend my spare time looking at holidays because when I was younger, my dad used to say, "Oh, you have no drive, you've got no work ethic. All you want to do is just go on holiday all the time." Who doesn't?
Of course.
It wasn't that I
Of
didn't have
course.
work ethic. I just wanted to be successful enough so that I could go on holiday as much as I want and have the freedom to go wherever I want, whenever I want. And I think that's the difference. So I found on TikTok actually that you can become an independent travel agent. So I did my digging and shock horror, within a few hours I was signed up ready to go because I'm so
Yeah.
impulsive. Whereas other people, it might take them weeks, months, years. They'll know about it and they might think, "Oh, I'll try it out." No, I was straight in there, knew that's what I wanted to do. It was a light bulb moment for me. So instead of looking for holidays in my spare time and not getting paid for it, now I get paid for it. And it's the best hobby, little side hustle ever.
I don't want to go into all the cliche questions, right? But where would be your favorite place right now? Where's the favorite place that you've been to?
Oh, Australia, 100%.
Oh, Australia. Okay, right.
Yeah, so I went in 2020 and my time got cut short because of COVID. Urgh, makes me so angry.
I know.
Anyway, so I feel like I've been robbed of that opportunity. I went, I loved it, and I was dying to get back. But then I met my boyfriend and we moved in together. Amazing. But now I'm like, I want to go back.
In Australia.
No, in Leeds. He's actually
Okay. I was
Irish.
going. Oh, right. Okay. Oh, Irish. Irish and Leeds. Okay.
Yeah, he came here for work, and I was out for my birthday doing an Otley run, which is like a pub crawl where you go in fancy dress, and I was dressed up as Cindy Lou from The Grinch, the little girl.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know why he liked me dressed like that, but he did, and the rest is history.
Stories like that just really not baffle me, but they like imagine like you weren't there at that time. Imagine you didn't go in that pub crowd. Like it's such
I know, all
coincidence.
them hours swiping on Tinder, and then you just bump into someone.
Now I have to say I can't slag Tinder because my relationship is from Tinder. So, but I think I'm one of the or one of the few people that it's actually worked out for.
Yeah,
I hated, I hated online dating.
it's hard, isn't it? I just got over it and I just thought I've had enough of this, and obviously that's when I bumped into Aaron. But anyway, I've completely diverted from Australia. Yeah,
Now, and would you see yourself moving away, that like as in to live?
I think I used to want to move to Australia, but the older I get, the more I actually need my family. And I think
Yeah,
you can't just, get in your car and go drive and see them, can you? If you're living over there, you have to take like 3 weeks off work, a long flight, and like if you have babies, that's a whole other different ball game. So I think obviously I'd probably move to Ireland, and that's as far as I'd go.
one of my favorite shows used to be where they brought a UK family and they went to Australia for like, was it 2 weeks or something, and they had to decide in the 2 weeks whether to stay there and live there and move over. Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. UK under something. I can't remember. Don't remember. But it's such a popular thing to do, and especially, I mean, just tying in Ireland, like a lot of people, students and university students from Ireland, go to
Yeah,
Australia
they do.
and they spend the uni days.
Yeah, my boyfriend was saying there's nobody back home because they're all in Australia.
Yeah, that's so true.
I know.
And I don't know what it is. It just seemed to start, and every year it's just a thing.
I know, probably because it rains so much in Ireland.
That's another fair point. Yeah. So as for travel, then is this a 24/7 job for you, or is it a side hustle?
It's a side hustle. So I was looking for one
Okay.
for ages and
Mhm.
it's perfect, but I want to make it my full-time job.
So what do you do as your full time job, if you don't mind me asking?
I am an e-commerce assistant. So I did a degree in marketing and this was the
Mhm.
closest thing I could get. It's hard to get jobs nowadays in what you want, especially
Yeah.
marketing, creative industries. It's
Yeah.
just really hard.
But I guess that they do tie in to each other.
Yeah, I think so because with the travel industry, with what I do, you can either pick the travel agent only route or you can be a rep, which seems a bit pyramid schemy. All of us are contributing to the success of the travel industry anyway. So the more of us, the better. And the more people I recruit, the more money I get.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like the commission for booking holidays is insane. And if you book like a holiday a day or even one a week, that'll pay your bills.
Yeah.
So that is my goal to eventually do that full time.
So describe this to me and people who are listening, because so when you book a holiday, you can get the holiday at the price of the agent. Is that right? But then other companies can add a bit on. Is that how it's working, or like what is your rule right now? Are you offering deals to people, or what are you doing?
No, if somebody said to me like, "I found this holiday online, can you get me a better
Mhm.
deal?" I'll have a look. Chances are probably not, because if you're looking for a budget holiday, you can book it yourself because I have access to so many different suppliers and it's for things like cruises, the Maldives, even Lapland, something that might be a bit more complicated and require a bit more expertise on different destinations. Whereas if you're wanting like a week in Benidorm for £400, like I know you can book that yourself. You don't need me to do that, and that's going to get me £40, so it's not worth it.
But the complex one, like it really does take someone to have knowledge, um, because this is a total sidetrack. But in another podcast that I produce, it's for a wedding Facebook page here
Mm-hmm.
in Northern Ireland, and recently there was a person on who her sole job is to book honeymoons for people
Right.
who have no idea about locations, about times of year, and it does take specialist knowledge for that kind of thing. Like where again, I don't want to go cliche, but where would be like the trending place to go right now during summer? Because for me, we went to Disneyland Paris in January,
Mm-hmm.
whereas a lot of people decide to go there in summer.
Yeah.
But I just hate. I just love going off peak to somewhere where it's just not the classic. You're overrun by
Well,
people.
especially Disney because in summer you're going to get on like two rides in a whole day because the queues are
Yeah.
so long, unless you got fast track. But even still, fast track, you're waiting 45 minutes. The most popular destinations are Turkey, Greece,
Okay. Hmm.
Spain. They're the ones that I've been asked to like book. That are the most common. I've been to Turkey, Greece, and Spain, so I can recommend loads of different places. But if someone asks me somewhere I've never been before, I have access to all these different trainings, and there will be a whole lot of training for that specific destination. So it saves someone else doing it themselves. Do you know what I mean? And getting it wrong.
Hmm. Yeah, because and my very ever first time like booking a proper abroad holiday was only actually last year, where we went to Mallorca, and it is one of those things where you're just constantly on edge because you don't know. Okay, you read reviews online, but when you get there, like it could be
Yeah,
like 1 star.
exactly. And I think, with things like car hire, if you wanted to hire a car, you could be getting a hotel where you need to get a bus into this town, and you don't want that really, do you? Unless you had a car. Um, the different excursions and things like that. Like if you're doing it on your own, you don't want to book the wrong thing and it ruin your holiday.
Yeah,
But then if it's in my hands, they can blame me, but it's ATOL and ABTA protected. So
I guess there's only so much planning really you can do to that extent.
yeah, exactly. If there was something that was completely out of my control, like someone broke the leg, like that is not my fault. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Can you remember the first holiday that you went on?
I was a baby, my first holiday, but the first one I remember, I was probably about 5 or 6. We went to Zakynthos in Greece. Yeah. But all I remember is just playing in the pools.
Yeah,
Not really much of a memory.
I think unless you go somewhere abroad like that as a kid, that's where you get the bug for it. I think.
Yes, I agree. Like, I just love holidays. We were lucky enough to go on quite a few, but it was only to like Greece and Turkey. But now I have that love for there because it's not too far and you're going to have a good time.
I wouldn't say only Greece or Turkey because I know some people who haven't been out of the country. Like people go 3 hours down the
Yeah,
road for holiday and that's it.
true, true. But then it's like if you go on a staycation to Centre Parks, you're spending just as much, if not more.
Don't even talk about those things because some of the videos that I see and like some of the accommodation that people stay in, but the price that they're paying for these like parks but I just don't get it because you're still in the same country, you're still seeing the same weather, and like you say, you could just get away for that same price.
Exactly. Even if you went away for 4 or 5 days somewhere, and like Ryanair and stuff, like you can get return flights for 25 quid, or you're paying £80 for a day trip to London return.
Now, okay, that's an interesting one because last year we did do a day trip to London, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed not having to go through check-in, not having to bring
True.
loads of bags with you, and I really want to do more of that.
Yeah, I agree because it's such a big city. It's like so different from even from where I am now in Leeds. London is massive, you know. So it's an experience. I love London.
There's loads of people say that they don't get it, but I just think, like you say, there's so much to see, and there's and all the landmarks, of course, and I just love being a tourist.
Yeah, I do as well. I do like it. I took my boyfriend for the first time. He's never been to London before. He hated it.
Why was that? Just now, okay. One thing I will say is it was. I almost feel like you can't breathe in London because people are always down your back, and you don't get enough time to just you know be yourself and to relax.
Yeah, I like that though. You're constantly on the go. You haven't got
Mm,
time to think about anything. It's like, right, we need to get from A to B. Let's go, let's go. Oh, I love it.
yeah. If you want a relaxing city break, maybe that's not the option.
No, I actually went to Barcelona for a day once and oh my God, I wore sandals. Anyone out there that wants to go to Barcelona, do not wear sandals if you are
Yeah.
sightseeing.
I was trying to figure out like where would the furthest place you could be or place you could go, but still be within that day. You still have enough time to go around the place, but then come home again at night.
That's true. I'm not really too sure. I have seen recently you can do day trips to Alicante. And there's this spa in Europe somewhere. I feel like it might be Denmark. I'm gonna have to look that one up. But you can go for a spa day because it's cheaper than going for a spa day in England.
Wow.
So you pay £25 entry and you get a wristband, and you can pay for your drinks with it. You can top it up with what money you want. And you're just like ding, ding, and there's like loads of different rooms. It's all
That's
heated in there. It's amazing.
that's so smart.
I know.
And again, like it just makes it more of an experience, just jumping on a plane and just going somewhere.
Yeah, a lot of people do day trips to Dublin because where I live is close to the airport. So it's can sometimes be £40 maximum return Leeds to Dublin. And you go 6 a.m., land at 7, all day being a tourist in Dublin, and then you get the 10 o'clock flight home. Gosh.
It honestly, there should be more of a thing. They're honestly not done enough.
No, they're not. And usually flights are cheaper if you go same day.
Here's what I want to ask you, and here's something that's always been in my mind. There's this, I wouldn't say it's a rumor, but people say if you check flights on a computer, um, don't book it on that same computer if you would actually book it.
Yeah,
If that makes sense.
yeah, that's true.
Is that true?
If you've got like cookies or if you've not got a VPN on, stuff like that.
Mm.
For example, with this storm that's just been, my boyfriend needed to go back to Ireland for a funeral, and he said, I'm going to go on the Thursday because the Friday will be a no go. Um, so on the Wednesday, he was trying to book Thursday, and every time he went to click book, it said, sorry, your price has gone up by £150. And it's probably because of the storm, but also his phone knew that he needed to get that flight.
Yeah.
So I tried on my phone and it was completely different.
And if you are someone, and I do it as well, like who just goes on and just looks for flights just for the fun of it.
That's what I used to do.
But then, as you say, when you say when you go to book it, then it is so much. It's just I just can't believe how that happens.
I know, it's really naughty because there's a lot of people that will just be like, oh no, it's going up, I need to book it now. Whereas if they'd have just waited till the next day, booked it on a different device, it'd have been half the price.
So this year, have you got anything planned this year?
I'm going to a wedding in Spain, which is really exciting.
Okay.
Um, so that's in June. And then other than that, I don't have anything planned. I was hoping to do some last minute trips.
Do you prefer things to be last minute? For me, I would need a holiday planned, 5 months in advance.
Yes and no. I like knowing that there's one planned, but I also like knowing that there's a spontaneousness that one might come up.
Yeah.
So you've got the certainty of the one planned, but
Hmm.
then you've also got the excitement of like, oh, should we go to Tenerife tomorrow? You know?
Do you know what I would love? I would love to go on holiday and be able to be that person who can just maybe stay an extra day or go somewhere else. That would be my dream holiday, just to plan it as you go.
Yeah, that's what I did in Australia because obviously I had no idea where I was going and when. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll get the bus to this place tomorrow. Just book the bus, done.
I said it like that, but you saying that gave me a slight anxiety.
So it's like you do and you don't, really.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe if I'm not that far out. In life then, what did you do up to this point?
I never had a dream job. Like I say, I just wanted to go on holiday all the time. But if we're going far back in school, I hated school with a passion. Like, everybody just annoyed me. All the teachers annoyed me. I think it was the same environment for too long.
Mm, yeah.
Everybody stayed on for sixth form. I was like, you're all crazy. Bye. See you later. Went to a different sixth form to do performing arts, dance, sociology, and photography. How random is that?
I was going to say, that's quite a
And
mix.
business. Yeah, that's me. And because I didn't know what I wanted to do, you see, because I had my background in performing arts, but then I was also quite academic, so I wanted the best of both worlds. And then that school was awful, so I went to college and did A levels instead, and I did business, law, and photography. That photography, keeping in the creative side so I don't get too bored.
Hmm.
But I loved law, and I was set on being a solicitor.
Wow.
Fully set. I was
So,
like, I loved criminal law. I was like, oh yeah, let's get the baddies, lock them
yeah.
up. Um, and I just thought one day, I thought, I can't do this at university because you have to do all the boring bits of law to do the bit that you enjoy. So I thought, I can't sit there through all that like legal law. Then I got like a summer job in fashion marketing with my auntie just because I was like, what do I do now?
Hmm.
And then I went to Australia. So, a bit random. I had the opportunity to go. I took it. I went. COVID happened. And because I was so bored in lockdown, what do you do when you're bored? I blooming went and did a degree. Who does that?
You did it? Oh, really?
I was like, I woke up one day and was like, right, I'm bored. I've had enough. Everyone's doing my head in. I'm going to do a degree. Like, that's not normal.
I was going to say, even I have went to that extent.
Yeah, so it was all online because of COVID, obviously,
Mm.
until like the last few weeks.
Hmm.
But it was something that it's fashion marketing. It was something I enjoyed. I got it done. Every single module I loved. And I've never been in something in my life where I'm like, I love it, I love it, I love it. But if I could go back to uni and stay at uni forever, I would.
Wow.
I didn't I didn't have the social aspect because of COVID, but that don't bother me. I went because I love learning. And I think this is my ADHD, like I just need to be constantly learning or I'm bored and I'm
Mm.
not interested.
Yeah. Now, see, I was the opposite because I honestly don't feel that any of that has kicked in until the later years. So I kind of did sixth form and I did all that A levels. I think it was at uni the things started to go like downhill for me. I just really did not enjoy
Mm,
uni. I think in school I was lucky that way that I didn't struggle in kind of concentrating in school. So you were there, what, 9 to 3, and that was it. But I think just because
mhm.
uni was so unpredictable, I didn't like, showing up at a lecture and then it wasn't on. Like
Oh,
that,
see, I never had that.
no, see, it seemed so disorganized for me.
Yeah. Maybe it was better because I did it in COVID, because it
Mm,
was online. There was no excuse for nobody to not to be there.
yeah, yeah.
So I guess maybe if I had your experience, I'd have felt the same.
It almost ruined my love for music as well because it was,
Yeah,
I guess, it's just the topics that we were learning about, and it wasn't the right environment. But I guess it's either for you or not for you. Some people just don't go to uni because of that.
yeah, exactly. That's why dance at A level ruined my love for dance because I was like, I don't want to write about it.
Yes, 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 yes. That's along the same lines. Hmm.
Yeah. I was like, I love dance. It's been my life since I was 3 years old. And then I had this thing where I was like, oh my God, like I thought I'd be dancing forever. And I just kind of lost the love for it. And it's really sad, really. But
And for me, yeah, yeah, I love music and love performing music, but I don't want to be sitting down and analyzing like every single dot that's on the page. So yeah, I
exactly.
get where you're coming from with that. Yeah. And to go full circle with the ADHD thing, I think almost I'm not gonna say everyone, but almost every creative person has a hint of ADHD. I think in them. There's
Yeah. It's the hyper focus, I
yeah,
think. Because not everybody is in the creative industry and whatever. And I think it takes a certain level of concentration to be able to succeed at it. And I think the ADHD concentration is on another level to the average person.
and especially when it's something that you do love and you know, you adore, so you will sit down for hours and just study it.
Exactly. Like I got into the English youth ballet and I thought, this is it. This is what all my life's work has come to. And then it was so hard and horrible.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hated it. That's it then. What next? What's the next thing I'm going to move on to, you
Hmm.
know?
How long ago did you actually find out that you had it? By the way.
We'll be coming up to nearly 5 years ago.
Okay. And I want to ask, like, how it changed your view.
I just thought that all the stereotypes of ADHD, yeah, it's true what you see on social media, but I think there's a lot of hidden, like, darker things to it. I think there's lots of struggles that people don't realize. It's not a trend. It's not cool to have ADHD. Yeah, and people say, oh, it's a superpower. But actually, I think people need to be more open minded to the fact that we do struggle in certain areas and it's not all fun and games.
It's that one part that will allow you to, it looks like you're finding things easy because you can do that. But on the back burner, there's like the anxiety and yeah, everything else that comes with it.
Exactly. And if someone could be in my brain for a day, they'd be exhausted.
I actually did see you did one of the the Trenton sounds on TikTok, and you were like, you wished your brain was like able to just focus on a song or something. Yeah,
Yes, it was just like so quiet and nice and
yeah.
peaceful. Peace and quiet is something that I will never understand.
Well, thank you so much for coming on this podcast. Anyway, it's going to open a lot of minds, actually.
I know, thanks so much for having me. It's been nice to actually speak to someone who understands.
Exactly. And do you know what? Some people may be watching or listening, and they may question themselves. Actually, things that go on in their head.
Yeah, and hopefully make them realise that ADHD isn't all, you know, sunshine rainbows.
By the way, for anyone who wants to follow your socials for like the travel stuff and so on, is TikTok your main place? That
Yeah, it's Ellie Bartle on TikTok, ELLBARTLE.